We start tonight with Nancy Cordes at the White House on the North Lawn. Nancy, great to see you. Thanks for helping us out tonight. Big meeting going on. The Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan set of accountants, gave some new information today about the deficit and debt implications of the president's economic agenda. Get us started.
That's right, Major. Good to see you. The Congressional Budget Office has some new numbers that create some complications for Republicans as they try to sell this bill to some of their own colleagues and to the country. The two biggest headlines out of the CBO's analysis is one, that this bill would cause the federal deficit to grow by $2.4 trillion over the next decade. Not great when the White House is arguing that this bill is actually somehow going to decrease the deficit. And that's primarily due to the tax cuts that are in this bill. And then here's the other big headline, is that 11 million Americans would be uninsured over the next decade due to cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act that are in this bill. The White House reaction to all this today has been that, yes, while the tax cuts may lead to decreased revenue, that's more than going to be made up for by the president's new tariff regime, which they say is going to cut $2.8 trillion from the deficit. They say they're not the only ones saying that. The CBO, the independent CBO, is saying that too. So they argue at the end of the day, they will end up ahead.
And Nancy, talk a little bit about this meeting going on with the president and key Senate Republicans on the Finance Committee. They're going to have a lot to say about the tax proportions of this bill.
Right. And they have to win over nearly all of their Senate Republican colleagues if they're going to get this bill across the finish line. So what they need to discuss is, do they leave the bill as is and try to muscle it through and put pressure on those colleagues to get on board? Do they make some strategic changes in order to win over those colleagues? Do they risk losing other Republicans if they make those changes to perhaps make the tax cuts smaller, make the Medicaid cuts smaller or bigger, because there are Republicans on both sides of that fight? And how quickly can they get that done? Because the president is still pushing for this very escalated timeline whereby this would get passed by the July 4th recess, which is a tall order. It's just a few weeks away.
And Nancy, two topics that the president addressed on his social media platform. One, frustration with President Xi of China and conversations about tariffs, and a phone call he had with Vladimir Putin.
Yes. So he railed against President Xi in the middle of the night. This was apparently keeping him up because he posted about it at 2 o'clock in the morning. He said he likes President Xi, but boy, is he difficult to negotiate with. It was surprising to hear him say that because, as far as we know, the president actually hasn't had a one-on-one conversation with Xi yet. The White House has been promoting it, saying that it's going to happen. They haven't given a time or a date, but they say it's going to happen. So it's unclear what exactly it is that frustrated the president in the middle of the night. He seemed to be much less frustrated by Vladimir Putin. They had a phone call, and President Trump said it lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, though. A couple of ominous details. Number one, he said that it was not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace, something that President Trump has been pushing for. And he said that President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to Ukraine's recent surprise attack on Russian hardware and Russian jets. President Trump didn't condemn that. He simply said that Putin says that he is going to do it. And that drew a response from President Zelensky of Ukraine, who said if the world reacts weakly to Putin's threats like this, if the world doesn't stand up to Putin, then he is going to see this kind of attitude as silent permission for new atrocities and new strikes. So this peace process at this point, Major, does not appear to be moving in the right direction.
Not at all. Nancy Cordes summing so many things up for us so well. Appreciate it very much.